afternoon, Lake Wales, or good morning, whenever you happen to be listening. Welcome to episode number 5 of The Mayor and the Manager. I'm the current mayor of Lake Wales, Jack Hilligoss. I'm here again with our city manager, James Slaton. James, glad to have you with us again.
Glad to be back, Mayor.
And as we're sitting here, I actually just came from downtown Lake Wales on the Market Plaza, having been interviewed by Tampa Bay 28. They've been with us all week. A lot of excitement down there. That's a first, I think, for the city of Lake Wales. So talk to me about how all that came about for our downtown.
Sure. You know, it didn't happen overnight. Number one, I think what we've been accomplishing, number one, here in Lake Wales over the last few years, has just gotten a lot of attention from people. Mm-hmm. You know, whether it be through word of mouth or we've had a lot of media coverage, you know, scattered throughout the last 6-year period. And I think believe it or not, Eric Marshall, our communications and engagement director, is really the one who coordinated this. Okay. And ABC News felt like that we had enough going on that it was worth covering. So they have been here the last 2 weeks, you know, creating a lot of stories and micro stories about our community. Yeah. And that all culminated to what you saw this morning, which is essentially from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. In addition to those micro stories, the news, ABC's been broadcast their morning news here in downtown Lake Wales this morning. So it was an extremely, extremely proud moment, I think, for all of us.
Yeah, I was up at 6 a.m. and pulled them up on my internet feed and watched, and it was exciting to see that happening there. I talked to Kelly Janot, who's also a member of our marketing department, and she said it was about a year in the making. So Eric has done a fantastic job. You need someone who will shine the light on what you're doing. I call it, if they're really good at humble bragging. So, and I had my shot at fame. I had my 90 seconds of fame on Tampa Bay 28, but it really was fun to be a part of that. Now, you mentioned that kind of this is another step in a large amount of attention that the city's been getting. And I've noticed that. I've been serving on the commission for almost 6 years now. So talk about, recently we were on an episode of The American Dream, which I guess is a national program. Talk about that one a little bit with me.
Just kind of word of mouth. Mm-hmm. We've been out doing a lot of business recruitment and a couple that is interested in opening one or possibly two businesses here in Lake Wales. And they're from out of town. They had some connections with one of the hosts on that show. And so the couple, the business owners, the Parkers, have just fallen in love. They didn't know, you know, like everybody else from outside of Lake Wales, once they get here, they all say the same thing. You're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea this was here. So they just absolutely fell in love with what we're doing. And they reached out to their friend, Danny Barreau, the host of the show, brought her out, same exact enthusiasm and excitement. And so they reached out to me and asked if I'd be willing to be on their show, and the rest is history.
Yeah, it's fun to see that happening. You know, I've said that Lake Wales is probably the best kept secret of Central Florida, but the secret's starting to get out. So fun to hear that, see that going on. And it really is kind of the culmination, like we've said, of a few years of momentum. And so not just in media attention, but also in awards and recognition on a professional level of things that are happening in the city. So I've tried to keep track, but I know in 2024, Lake Wales envisioned plan received an award of excellence from the American Planning Association. What are some other ones that you can recall? I know there's been a lot of them. I said in one commission meeting, we're going to have to get a bigger trophy case.
Agreed, and should have written some of them down. So for that one plan, Lake Wales Envision, we did win the Florida Planning and Zoning Association Award. I'm sorry, we won the American Planning Association Award, but we also won the Florida Planning and Zoning Association Award. And the firm that created the plan for us won the prestigious Seaside Planning Award. So that one award alone has won three different awards. We've won, a few years ago, I think we won an award for our Lake Wales Connected plan. And just this past year, we won 2 awards at the Florida Redevelopment Association Conference for both our annual CRA plan and report, and additionally for the Park Avenue project. The Park Avenue project has also won our Partners Awards. Okay. So the construction team, Gomez Construction, that did that work, won an award from their professional associations. The engineering firm won an award from their professional association. Eric and his team have won multiple national communications awards for their video series. We actually won a performance management award from the International City Managers Association recently, a few years ago, that, I don't really talk about. We've won an American Planning Association award for our multimodal mobility plan.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm forgetting more. So city departments, if you've won an award, forgive me for not being able to recall it off the top of my head.
Well, I want to say a couple of budgeting awards.
Yes.
So I don't know. You can.
I'll be happy to talk about that. So we for the last 6 years, every single year, the Government Finance Officers Association we've won their annual budgeting award and their annual audit award. Those are the two highest awards that government can achieve from the GFOA, and we get both every single year.
And Dorothy is just fantastic. I mean, I know it's a whole department, but she's the face and the leader of that. She is exactly the kind of person you want guarding the finances, isn't she?
And that's putting it lightly. I'll just say this: Dorothy is hands down. She's just simply the best at what she does. Mm-hmm. She's highly intelligent, and she knows exactly what she's doing. And she's such an asset to the city, and I couldn't do what I do without her here.
Right. Now, I know not too long ago, we also, I believe it was our utilities department that received an award, and it's not coming back to me, but we had to award it at the beginning of a commission meeting. But nevertheless, let's talk about that department, because I am impressed, and that's one of those things that, boy, you take it for granted how well that job is done in the city, but you would certainly know it wasn't being done if it weren't. So talk more about, is it Sarah that runs that department?
Yes, sir. Sarah Kirkland, our Public Works Director. Again, she's another one. We have the most talented team here at the city of true dedicated public servants that know exactly what they're doing. They're all, excellent technical practitioners in their respective fields. And so you just nailed it. The water department, or the utilities department as a whole, they're very quiet heroes. Nobody ever thinks about them until there's an issue. Yeah. But day to day, they come in, they love what they do, and they give it all they got. And at the end of the day, we all get to reap the benefits of that with very, very little interruption. And you're right, and the name escapes me, but we did just win a statewide award for our utilities department and their performance. And we mentioned them off the top. The marketing department just won an award at Telly something or other. They've won like 5 over the last couple of years. I can't keep track. Yeah, it's fun to, they do put out good stuff. I mean, I'm trying to find some way to have it get more of a following, but they put out really high quality stuff. And then the gentleman's name escapes me that they brought on, who has had a news career, and he was downtown with us this morning. Oh gosh! Oh, so yeah, everybody knows Ken Suarez. Ken Suarez with I think Fox for 30 some odd years. When they parted ways, we jumped right on that opportunity and retained Ken. So we've got a very, very familiar place here in Central Florida and West Central Florida working on our behalf. Yeah, so that was a big catch, and again, even that department of our city has done a fantastic job. So all of that, I think, I'm just bringing up because it's good on an occasion, I think, for the people of our city to understand the excellence of leadership that happens downtown. And it certainly is reassuring to me as a mayor, as a commissioner, to be able to sit in commission meetings, because the way we function, policy governance, boy, if that's going to be done well, then you have to have excellence in the day-to-day operations. And if not, it just doesn't work. Every commission meeting becomes just a grind. And I think that's what we had experienced for quite a while up until the last 4 or 5 years here, maybe more like 6 years here in the city of Lake Wales. So it's fun to talk about the ribbons and the trophies and the plaques and the awards, but Lake Wales over the last several years, as a result of this good leadership, has also received awards that have more monetary benefits, more tangible benefits to the city. So
One of the things that's been incredibly fascinating to me that we don't hear enough about is the number of grants that this city has received. So of course, the granddaddy was the RAISE grant, I think summer before last or last summer, $23 million from the federal government. But that's just one of tons. Start with that one, but let's talk about some other ones that have come our way.
Happy to talk about that one, and you're right. We've had we've been so successful. I can't keep track of all this in my head, but the RAISE grant. So that's $23 million federal grant we received to continue our revitalization efforts in and around the downtown and northwest community. Federal dollars, highly competitive, and we beat some very large metropolitan cities for that pot of money. I'll tell you right now, we beat cities like Reno, Nevada, Atlanta, Georgia, small cities like Nashville, Tennessee. So I will say very immodestly, we've done a fantastic job, and I'm extremely proud of that work.
Sure. And since the odds are small that anyone from Reno is listening, we'll say, take that, Reno, right? No, but that's impressive. You're right. So again, that's just one, though, several grants. So I'm not sure that this is a grant, but you can make sure that people are getting the right information. Just this month, we broke ground on 2 more street projects in downtown Lake Wales. So
we did both. Mostly grant funded.
Yes,
so,
right. And so you can give the numbers, but I remember at the groundbreaking ceremony, the amount of money that's actually coming out of our general budget to the project is ridiculous. But you can tell us more.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk about it. Yeah, two more grants, one at the state level, one at the federal level. And so what we're talking about are the redevelopment and streetscape projects for 1 block of First Street downtown, Market Street downtown, Crystal Avenue, and Orange Avenue. And shout out to Congressman Darren Soto because he helped us secure that funding. And so we were able to, I think the grant funds were somewhere around $1.5 million or so for the $2 million project. So that left a little over $500,000 funding gap.
Right.
Because we were so proactive a few years ago in creating the mobility impact fee, this all came together as exactly as designed. We were able to supplement those grants with the mobility impact fee, which means our current local taxpayers did not contribute to that deficit. That was new homes coming in. It's one of the benefits of the new homes coming in is they pay these impact fees. So in terms of local tax dollars, I think those projects were just over $2 million. $26,000 is coming out of our CRA.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
It is.
The city's making an investment of $26,000 and getting a $2 million project.
That's a pretty good return on investment for our taxpayers.
Yeah, I would take that. Anybody would put money in a market return like that. So now you mentioned something, and we may have talked about it in an earlier episode, but I'm sure that people that listen to this may not get every episode. But let's take some time to talk about that multimodal fee again.
Sure.
Because this goes to our work. We're working really hard to make sure that our citizens reap the benefits of growth while we minimize the impacts of growth. And this was a big step in that direction. So we don't have to spend tons of time on it, but do explain that multimodal fee again.
Sure. Yeah, I'll try to get down to it, not get too government in this, but so we created a mobility plan with an associated multimodal impact fee. So traditional transportation impact fees that every other city, by the way, in the county still has. We're still the first and only that have such an impact fee, though I'm surprised no one has followed us yet.
Right.
Transportation impact fees traditionally can only be spent on roadway improvements, and that's great. That's a good thing. Here in Lake Wales, I think we're a little bit more serious about mobility overall, moving humans, whatever that looks like, and not just vehicles. Lake Wales Connected, and just about everything we're doing, though it may not look like it on the surface, it has mobility elements. Complete street projects, for example, are all about wider sidewalks and bicycle lanes and multimodal trails. And so that's exactly the type of thing that our mobility fee can be spent on. So we supplement our other revenue sources to get these projects done with this mobility fee. And that's what helps sustain these improvements into the future.
Right. It's just another example of how growth is a good thing if it's managed right.
Yes, sir.
So between grants that we have been awarded and proactive utilization of the growth, I should say, you're getting, like I said, $2 million of improvements, really attractive improvements to your downtown for $26,000. I don't know how anyone could do any better than that. So I
don't think they can. I will also immodestly say I think we're about the best at what we do.
Yeah, well,
in local government.
Okay. Well, it's a Lake Wales podcast, so we can say that.
Say it. That's right.
Well, okay. So it's not just downtown. We also, our airport has been the recipient of tons of grants in the last few years. So let's talk about a few of those.
Another literal millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. So all of the infrastructure build out, our new, fuel farm, for example, well in excess of $1 million, 100% grant funded. Yeah. Right. Our new taxiway construction, grant funded. Taxiway rehabilitation, all grant funded. Yeah. I mean, I'll come back later and we'll report a cumulative grant amount over the last, we'll say 5 years, but it's in the tens of millions.
Yeah. The last time that we did receive an update on it at the commission was over $30 million then. And that's in the last 5 years, over $30 million of grant money. I don't know what the balance is, but like we said, we just shelled out $400,000 from the modal fees. Again, tremendous. It's good to get those reports. It's fun to be when you have a proposal in front of you for spending and the memo says all of this is being paid for by the federal government.
Yes, sir. And you guys get to vote on those quite a bit.
Yeah, those are very easy yes votes for us. So those are the fun ones. So I'm trying to think of some other ways that we've seen this stuff come our direction. Again, it is amazing to me because I moved to Lake Wales in 1989 to go to Warner Southern College at that time, came back in 97. I do not remember a time that there was been so much attention focused on the city, and we are garnering all kinds of attention in that direction. So one more thing before we end this episode. Not long ago, and this goes back a little bit, we just did an episode on the Dixie Wells built hotel, but not long ago, we had a group come in who is working to get Highway 60 designated as a scenic highway. So I'm almost sure that Lake Wales is going to be featured prominently in that. How much do you know about that, or how much can we share?
I know quite a bit. It's still in the infancy stages, but yeah, it's the Route 60 project modeled after Route 66. The ultimate goal is for it to run coast to coast and create alternative I'd say travel or destinations for people that maybe don't want to go to the big theme parks or go to Disney and want to go visit the small towns. And so that's kind of the impetus behind it. Mm-hmm. Rob Kencart out of Bartow, his company's ACT. Mm-hmm. This was his brainchild. Okay. We are starting here in Polk County. We want to get it established and up and running first. And then once we do that, we're going to begin to approach the other counties east and west of us so that we actually create a true coast-to-coast corridor. And I happen to know a lot about it because the creative director of the entire project is our communications and engagement director, Eric Marshall. So we are leading the charge.
Okay. Well, so again, right in the middle of it all is Lake Wales. So Lake Wales is going to start getting plastered all over the place again. So
yes, we are.
It's fun to see that happening. And again, this is going to be more of a brief episode. My dad used to say nobody ever complains about a speech being too short. So we're going to end this podcast, but I felt like it would be important, at least on one episode, for our folks to understand how much attention is being garnered around the state by what's happening here in the city of Lake Wales. So I think we'll bring it into this episode, and we want to tell all of our listeners, thank you so much for taking the time to listen. I hope that this is informative and helpful to you. We always want to encourage you. If you have any questions, you can send them to us, and we will try in future episodes to always set aside a few minutes to respond to questions you may have, whatever those questions are. Our hope is that we're able to serve you with this kind of information that's helpful to you every day. So we appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Mayor and the Manager. The goal of this podcast is to keep you up to date on all that is happening in the great city of Lake Wales. To that end, we would love to take questions from you and take the time to answer them. So if you have any questions, just click on Submit a Question in the description above this podcast.